It's one of the most misunderstood endings. A Sigma INFJ leaves, and people assume it's fueled by hate, that the silence is bitterness, that the distance is punishment. But the truth is far less dramatic and far more final. When a Sigma INFJ walks away, it's rarely about hatred. It's about growth, about alignment, about the quiet realization that the connection no longer fits who they've become. They didn't cut you off because they despised you. They simply outgrew you. And that distinction makes all the difference. Part 1. They don't abandon people without cause. Sigma INFJs are loyal to a fault. They pour into relationships long after most would have walked away. They forgive quietly. They give second chances without announcing them. So if they leave, it's not impulsive. It's not rash. It's the result of months, sometimes years, of noticing the same patterns. They didn't wake up one morning and decide to end things. They endured until they couldn't. They tried until it hurt. They stayed until staying became close to self-betrayal. When they finally leave, it's not because they hate you. It's because they've exhausted every path to keep it alive. Part 2. Growth creates natural separation. The Sigma INFJ is always evolving, always questioning, refining, shedding, and rebuilding. And sometimes, in the process of their growth, they realize they're no longer in sync with people they once felt close to. The conversations that used to flow now feel stagnant. The values that once aligned now clash. The energy that once resonated now feels heavy. They didn't stop caring. They simply grew into a version of themselves that couldn't fit back into the old dynamic. It wasn't rejection, it was evolution. Part 3. Hate requires energy. They've already moved on. Hatred is consuming. It requires constant attention, emotional charge, and mental energy. But when Sigma INFJs walk away, they don't waste energy hating. They've already redirected their focus toward new growth, new clarity, new peace. To hate you would mean they're still tethered, still invested, still locked into a cycle they've already outgrown. So instead of burning energy in bitterness, they conserve it. They let silence carry the closure. And they move on without dragging the past into their present. Part 4. They release without resentment. The Sigma INFJ doesn't demonize you to justify leaving. They don't campaign for sympathy. They don't build a case against you to convince themselves. They simply acknowledge this no longer fits. They can still honor what the relationship once was. They can still appreciate the lessons learned. They can still hold gratitude for the memories. Their departure isn't a declaration of war. It's a quiet act of release, without resentment, without hatred, without regret. Part 5. Their boundaries are non-negotiable. For all their empathy, Sigma INFJs have firm boundaries. And once those boundaries are crossed repeatedly, they don't argue, they don't plead, they don't issue warnings forever. They simply leave. And this departure often shocks people, because until the very end, the Sigma INFJ seemed calm, forgiving, patient. But what most don't realize is that their silence wasn't approval. It was measurement. And when the measurement was complete, so was the connection. Part 6. They value alignment over attachment. Sigma INFJs don't cling just because of history. They don't stay just because it's familiar. They don't confuse longevity with loyalty. They care about alignment, about whether the connection still serves truth, growth, and mutual respect. When that alignment is gone, attachment isn't enough to keep them there. They'd rather walk away and grieve in solitude than stay and rot in misalignment. Because to them, nothing is worth losing themselves over. It's not coldness, it's clarity. Part 7. They choose peace over proof. Many people stay in unhealthy dynamics because they need to prove something, that they're forgiving, that they're loyal. that they can endure. But Sigma INFJs don't need to prove their loyalty. They've already shown it, again and again. So when they walk away, it's not to prove they're strong, it's to protect their peace. They know that constantly proving their worth in a draining connection only erases the very self they've worked to protect. They refuse to fight for a space that couldn't hold their value. Peace wins, every time. Part 8. They can love you and still leave you. One of the hardest truths about the Sigma INFJ is this: they can love you deeply and still walk away. Love isn't the issue, respect is. Alignment is, energy is. If those are gone, love alone can't hold the connection together. So when they leave, it's not because the love died. It's because they refused to die inside while clinging to it. They loved. They gave. They hoped. And when it was no longer enough, they chose survival. Part 9. They don't announce their exit. They just go. Sigma INFJs don't create scenes. They don't slam doors. They don't scream for closure. They slip away quietly. No goodbyes, no announcement. Just like water finding its own path. Unapologetic, inevitable, gone. One day the texts stop, the calls fade, the presence disappears. And while others are left wondering what happened, the Sigma INFJ knows. They left long ago, the moment growth or self-respect demanded it, and their exit wasn't loud, it was final. Part 10. Outgrowing you was about them, not you. Here's the truth most people miss. When a Sigma INFJ outgrows you, it's not about hate, it's not even about you, it's about them, their growth, their clarity, their refusal to stay small just to keep someone else comfortable. They didn't stop caring. They stopped compromising. They didn't turn cold. They turned inward. They didn't hate you. They simply outgrew you. And sometimes that's the most honest ending of all. Conclusion. Their distance is love. Redirected. If a Sigma INFJ has left your life, don't confuse their silence with bitterness. Don't mistake their absence for cruelty. They are not carrying hatred in their heart. They are carrying themselves forward. Because for them, endings aren't about destroying what was. They're about protecting what is and what will be. They didn't hate you. They outgrew you. And that difference matters. Because hatred chains you to the past, growth frees you to the future. And when a Sigma INFJ chooses growth, they never look back.